Hey toy collectors, welcome to another super exciting, outrageous toy review. Today, we're taking a look at 3 bad guys from Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now, I'm not the biggest fan in the world of this series of Turtles. I really didn't get into the cartoon show at all. But I do have the basic 4 Turtle figures, and I did want to pick up some of the bad guys. I actually got Origami Ninja and Baron Draxum quite a while ago and just never reviewed them. And then I stumbled across Alberto fairly recently and decided he seemed kind of cool as a funky mutant design. I really liked Meat Sweat, but I haven't seen the Foot Lieutenant anywhere. Baron Draxum, the maker of mutants, an alchemist warrior mutant from the Hidden City. Baron Draxum is the self-proclaimed protector of all mutant kind. Baron Draxum plans to mutate all of humanity with his insect-like creatures called Oozskitos. I know they have to go in a new direction sometimes, but this guy doesn't hold a candle to Shredder. They definitely went with an interesting design as far as a mutant goes. He doesn't have to be like Bebop and Rocksteady and the Turtles and be an exact animal mutant. This is kind of a weird, unusual kind of creature. I love how he's got the backwards bending knees like a goat or something. I think that's kind of interesting and something we don't see a lot on action figures. That's about the nicest thing I have to say about this figure, though, otherwise, because other than that, he's, I don't know, just not that interesting. He's got a gold helmet. His head is articulated there. His hair is not part of the head. I find that kind of interesting. It does not articulate with the head and helmet. The helmet barely moves. He does have 2 of these little creatures on his shoulders, very similar to these little creatures that he comes with as accessories. Kind of reminds me of Serpentor from G.I. Joe, how, he could in the cartoon pull those snakes off his shoulders and throw them anyway. I'm not sure if these guys on his shoulders come to life and become these little guys. I did notice, though, that the one on his shoulder has red eyes and the little pack-in figure has blue. So that one doesn't quite match up, although these guys seem to be a pretty good match of each other. He's got articulation at the shoulders, and those little guys on his shoulders move out of the way pretty well. He's got articulation at the elbow, nothing at the wrist, nothing at the waist. He's got hip and those funky knee joints, but his robe's going to keep him from being able to sit down or anything like that. So, not super flexible. He does also come with 2 of his little Oozskitos. They're little mosquito things. I'm not sure if they are meant to, like, fit on his wrists or something. I mean, clearly you could peg them onto action figures that way. It doesn't necessarily show anything with those. And like I said, since I haven't watched the show, I don't know the details of his modus operandi here. But I don't know. It is an interesting figure, at least. You know, I get trying to come up with a new direction to go in, trying to refresh the brand, but he doesn't really grab my imagination, but I don't know what the deal is with the younger viewers. But I don't feel like these toys have sold all that well. I'm wondering what Nickelodeon is thinking at this point. They had such a killer setup, and they decided to reboot. I think that was mostly for toy reasons, not for the cartoon reasons. But this reboot is leaving something to be desired for me anyway. The Foot Clan is an evil group of ninjas bent on taking over New York City. They have the power of teleportation through hidden gateways and the ability to create and control origami ninjas. This guy definitely has a foot soldier vibe, and, sounds like he kind of is. I don't know the whole dynamics of the Foot Clan in the show, but he's got the big foot symbol on his head. He's got very alien-like proportions and weird positioning of his body, which definitely harkens back to that original foot soldier toy. Like, this bent wrist is really bizarre. He comes with a sickle type weapon made out of a real gummy plastic, as well as 3 origami shurikens, maybe? I don't know what these things are supposed to be. He doesn't really hold them very well. They don't peg onto him anywhere. He can just kind of stick them in his hand. That didn't work. I don't know. He has articulation at the head. It pivots from side to side. He has shoulder joints that have a pretty decent range of motion out to the side and around. He's got an elbow joint on each arm that is fairly limited, And then he has swivels at the wrists, and this one wrist is bent at such a goofy angle. It's very strange. Below that, he's got hip joints that are pretty decent as far as range of motion goes. No knee joints, no ankle joints. He's got one like pre-posed battle step thing. So I feel like they've gone with some of the same mistakes that were in the original Turtle line. And maybe they were going for that aesthetic, but the pre-posed limited articulation stuff is really, really rough on being able to display the toys. And for the kids that want to play with them. Alberto, party animal. Though he was once a singing, birthday-celebrating animatronic bear, Alberto turned into a real party animal with razor-sharp metallic claws after a mishap with Donnie's tech. Now this maniacal mechanical menace wants to start a robot revolution, and no humans are invited. So he's Five Nights at Freddy's. No surprise there. I definitely got that vibe immediately. He also reminds me a little bit of the vintage Pizza Face character, as well as the Dream Beavers from the Nick series. So he's kind of a funny amalgamation of a lot of different stuff. This is definitely a cool toy. This is one worth having to just have with all the weird mutants that have come out over the years if you display your Ninja Turtles all mixed together. He's really kind of cool. He's definitely my favorite, I think, figure from this line. He's got an articulation point at the head here. He's got some amazing sculpting going on with his big gaping open mouth, part of his fur removed, one evil Terminator Eye there. He looks great. Even his baker hat is like damaged, his pizza chef hat there. He's got torn sleeves on this arm. He's got a shoulder joint, an elbow joint that barely moves based on the sculpting, and a rotation at the wrist there. I love the sculpting on his robot hand. And it's cool that he comes with a slice of pizza for an accessory. You know you want some. Happy birthday. Over on the other side, he's got a cool mechanical arm. It's got a similar shoulder joint. It's got an elbow joint that works better. It has a much better range of motion. He's got that same rotating wrist. And he's holding a whack-a-mole mallet, it looks like, in that hand. His torso is one big solid block pretty much. And down below he's got legs that have kind of odd hip joints. But they're not terrible. You can pose him a little bit, although mostly you're just spreading out his legs to help him balance. But I definitely like this guy. I think he is pretty awesome. So I think the first two baddies from Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are pretty subpar, but I do like the direction they're going in. Meat Sweat was great, and Alberto is awesome as well, so I really hope they do come out with some more creative mutants that just seem fun. Thanks for watching this super exciting, outrageous toy review. Make sure to like, subscribe, and check out our other videos.